Sweet, few minutes here. Make sure my stuff's off. Lighting's okay. Yeah, it works. Chat. All right. All right. Hi, everybody. Sorry, it's kind of like wonky a little bit. It'll work. Hopefully. Hi, everybody. All righty. Hang on. Sorry, so this is... All right. Cool. Well, I am here to help answer questions, guys. Like I said, this week is a little bit more... It's kind of shifting gears, I guess, if you want to think about it that way. So if you're kind of feeling frustrated, or you're feeling kind of stuck, or you're feeling like, what the hell am I doing here? Well, you're kind of right on point. You're A-okay. So Darla's asking, is it too late to start a business? No. Nope, not at all. So I would tell you that I'm all for entrepreneurs. So let's see, y'all. So much negativity out there. There's a lot, especially with the muggles, and there's a lot of fear right now. It's actually really surprising me how many people are just scared to death. They're scared to leave their house. They're scared, and they're constantly doing the what if this, what if that, what if this. I'm like, well, you can't control it anyway. So just surrender it, give it to God, let it go. Like, let it go. It's okay. Diagnosed sorry, hang on one second. Diagnosed myocarditis. Good crystals. I like malachite. Rose quartz is always pretty good. I would even add in smoky quartz in there as well, because smoky will be able to help you kind of detox just a little bit. So this is a good question, because I actually have gotten this question a lot, and you'll know when it's time to stop fighting. You'll just know. I can be real with you. I know not everybody will agree with you. Family usually doesn't agree with that. But you know, when you get to a point where you're fighting it years and years on end, and you're tired and you just kind of want to go home. So you'll know when it's time. You will just know. So, and that is a personal decision to make. It really is. So, and I always have to tell the people that's going through that, be selfish, because this is your life to live. And if you don't want to fight anymore because you're tired and you want to enjoy the rest of this earth plane best you can, totally understandable. Totally understandable. So a lot of people, and I'm gonna talk about this one. A lot of people have been having lots of headaches. You have to make sure that you're staying hydrated. Make sure that you're taking your nutrition, because again, there's not a lot of good food out there. And then number 3, get outside. Headaches are usually because you're trying to control everything, and you're scared about what might be happening coming in the future. And control, or heavy control, or perfectionism issues is always migraines and headaches. So hydrate and get outside. Feet to earth, get outside. I think people always forget to go outside. So literally go outside and play. You need to. It'll feel better. But so Brooke is saying right shoulder and neck pain. That's because, Brooke, you're taking on everybody's burden. You're taking on the financial burden of the family, or you're feeling very financially burdened. Like you're the only one making money. You're the breadwinner of the family. So thoughts on the white buffalo calf that was born? I think the last one was back in there's been more and more being born. But like I said, I know that in Native American tradition, that is very highly valued and honored, and usually it's spiritually significant, which wouldn't surprise me that there's one this year or next year. There is a lot of changes that are going to be happening this year and into next year too. So, but again, we don't know how these changes are going to occur. We just have to wait for the card to get played, and then we can do something about it. And it's probably going to take all of us to come together to say enough of the shit, right? So, how do you stay in belief from manifesting when physical symptoms are so prevalent? So, Lila, ease your thought on that, meaning that if you're having those physical symptoms, if somebody asks you how you're doing, don't be like, oh man, I'm hurting today. Just like, you know what? I'm okay. Are you great? No. But are you okay? Yes. Okay is still a higher vibrational frequency than I don't feel good, or I feel bad, or I'm hurting, or whatever you're telling yourself. So, but it's hard to manifest when you're working with pain, right? So the best thing to do is for now, break that up just a little bit more. Like I said, meditate a little bit more often, and try then after your meditation to think about what it's like to already have what it is that you seek, what it is that you want. So, let me see. Can you sleep on a grounding pad? You can. Yep, you sure can. This is a good one. I have a self-doubt about trying for a new job. How do you get past the doubt? You know what? I know this sounds weird, but fake it till you make it. But I'll tell you, carnelian's really going to help with that one. But the biggest thing is opening up your solar plexus and making sure that you're standing like Power Man, like Superman. If you stand in that Superman position, it forces your solar plexus out, and it really helps with self-confidence. So try that a little bit, especially about 10 minutes before you go in for the interview or an application or whatever it is. But don't get the cart in front of the horse. So try for the new job first. And if you get the interview, then I can tell you to worry. But until you apply for the job, send in your resume, don't worry about it yet. You're worrying about something, you're getting the cart before the horse. You got to get the first step done first. So let's see. This was a good, do I see the housing market getting any better? Not really, no. I'm hoping it'll stay kind of where it's at, but we all know that we're due for a crash of some sort. So we'll just have to wait to see when or if it happens. So getting over fight or flight, that is a natural human response. You will never get over that. So because that's a hit at epinephrine or adrenaline in your system, and that really does protect you from being safe. So, and in the meantime, if you're still having the fight or flight issues, it's because you're swimming in anxiety constantly. So you're constantly worried about what if. And again, you can't control the what if. You've got to learn how to let it go and understand that no matter what circumstance happens, you will be able to respond and navigate through that, because again, it's not on you. You don't have that much power. You don't have that much control over things outside of you. The only thing you have control over is what you say, what you do, and what you think. That's it. That's all you have control over. So let go of all the what ifs. And I'm fully aware that that's not easy to do. So, but the more you meditate, the more you're going to be able just to relax that. You will, but you've got to learn how to meditate first. That's the only way that you learn how to control your brain. Lung infection on the right side, Ellie, that has a lot to do with grief. And usually, and it might even be some like weirdly religious grief there. But that has a lot to do with grief. Very well could be grief over the mom or a sister as well. So this is a good one. What can you do to better control your emotions, especially with toxic family members? Meditate. Meditate, 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 and understand that you picked your parents and you picked your siblings, and your siblings will be the completely polar opposite of you, and no, they won't think the same way that you do. Even though you were raised the same way, you will not come out thinking the same. You won't. But you have to understand that you have to accept their point of view, their perspective, and where they're at. And that doesn't mean you need to fix them. It doesn't mean that you need to force them for them to hear your perspective. No, not at all. Just understand that, even if they're unenlightened and you're enlightened, you can still deal with them. but just understand that there won't be any disrespect on my part. I'll be cool with you and you could be cool with me. But the minute you start calling me out on shit, the minute you start bashing my name, that's when I'm going to be done. I'm going to warn you once. But the second time it happens, I'm just going to grab my stuff and I'm going to go home. I'm just going to excuse myself. I don't need to argue with you. We don't need to do that. So like I said, my actions will speak for me. I'll warn you once. If you do it again, I'm just going to grab my things and I'm just going to leave. And everybody's going to be like, oh, why did you leave? I'm like, because I was being disrespected. I asked them not to do that. They chose to do it again. So I chose to leave. Simple. And guess what? They don't blame you. They blame the person for them having you go. So that's how you learn how to gain control over situations, especially within your family, especially within your family. This is a good one. Can bipolar be healed? Yes. And Annie, if you are bipolar, it is because you have a dad abandonment issue. And once you fix that issue through therapy, meditation, whatever it takes, absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. So what do you do when they're manipulative, narcissistic, and controlling? Well, first of all, narcissists, all they care about is money, power, control. So you showing up to grace their presence, you better come with compliments. Otherwise, you're just sucking their time and they don't care. So I'm not going to waste my time or energy or effort on people who don't really want me around. If they wanted me around, they'd call. They'd be like, hey, I miss you. Like, come on over. But a narcissist won't stop what they're doing to come on over. They won't do that because they care about themselves. They don't care about you. So you might care about them, but they don't care about you. They don't know how to do that. The narcissistic people are service to self. They're not service to others, meaning that they don't care about you. They don't care about other people. They don't care. All they care about is money, power, control, and attention. That's it. That's all that circles in their world. That is it. And they care what other people think about them. That's it. So you can't win. You can't win against a narcissist. You just can't. So you learn not to play the game, but also understand that if they're manipulative and narcissistic, you're still showing up because of your guilt, and they know how to play on your guilt. And so I'm going to tell you, put your damn guilt away and tell them no, because you know damn well they're not going to help you out when you need it, because they won't. So a lot of people have been having batshit crazy dreams right now. I'm going to tell you, make sure that you're looking them up. So, it doesn't matter what website you use on Google, just type in whatever you remember, like bats in a dream. Just type that in. It's really going to be able to help you understand what's going on in your reality right now. So I think, like I said, a lot of people are having nightmares because they're swimming in fear. They're just worried. And that's where nightmares come from, is anxiety or worry. So, or big changes. So that's a big one that I've been telling people a lot. Make sure that you are paying attention to your dreams right now, because they are gonna help you out. So why so many deaths right now? That's because they're not going to be here for this transition that's going to be occurring. So we all can agree that there's big changes coming. We can feel it. We can feel it. So when these changes occur, we're all going to have to come together and unite so we can fix the problem together as a front, right? So those people were not on the docket to help. So their time's up. It's time for them to go home. They're not here for that drama. So we chose to be here in this time, space, reality to help. So yes, go back to school, Jackie, especially if you know what it is that you want to do. For sure. What do you do to keep from getting in a car accident? I don't focus in on it and I don't worry about it. How about that? Because if you focus in on what you don't want, you're going to bring it right to your doorstep. So I never focus on what I want or what if situations or plan Bs or plan Cs. I don't play that game. I don't. So and my life has been a lot more simple and way happier because of it. How to co-parent with a narcissist? Easy. You give them a compliment first. You talk about the kids and the kids only, and that's it. It's a business transaction. So he doesn't need to know what's going on in your life. You don't need to know what's going on in his life unless he tells you. So like I said, it should be very black and white. You give them a compliment first because they need the compliment. And then once they do that, you'll be able to work with them. So, but keep it short, sweet, to the point. Don't tell them too much and just talk about the kids. Because if you get on off topic, get right back on topic. So, because they know how to fish for information. Mm-hmm. La, la, la. La, la. Hang on one second. What does it mean when clear quartz breaks? It just means that you don't need it anymore. That's all. So, or whatever you programmed it for, it's no longer needed. Sam, this is a good one. How do you feel with narcissistic boss who you were previously romantically involved with? You can't win that game. Bail. Bail. Get another job. Get the hell out of there. It's going to turn bad quick. It's going to turn bad. Narcissistic people, if they know that that phase is over with, they will dispose of you just like a dirty glove. Saw a small blue orb over my husband's head once. Was it spirit? Usually those are spirit guides. Yes, that might have been his spirit guide that you happen to catch. You betcha. Let's see here. Aha. Sorry, most of these guys, most of your guys are just doing comments. So crystal for ending and starting a new chapter. So rainbow moonstone. Rainbow moonstone is any moonstone really, but moonstone is all about new beginnings, fresh new starts, new beginnings. So any real kind of moonstone works. Hang on. So why do birds keep flying in front of me while you're driving? They're just chasing food. So there's lots of bugs right now. So they're kind of going crazy. So it's not spiritual at all. It's just nature. And here's a good one. How do you move from a level 4 to a 5? You'll know that you're going from a level 4 to a 5 when you have your kind of tribe around you. You've met more like-minded people. You know directly what your life purpose is, and you see everybody like your brother or your sister, and you've done all of your shadow work, like all of it. So you can own every single shitty part about yourself. So absolutely. I can get up on stage and tell hundreds of people that I cheated on my husband and I left him, and I left him for another guy, turned out to be pretty abusive, lost everything I owned because of it. Like, I have no problem telling people that. Not my husband currently now, but my previous one I did. So I don't have any problems telling people this because that's my life. But at the same time, I made mistakes just like everybody else does, but I owned it. So that's how you know you're at a level 5. You don't regret a damn thing you've done. Have I done some dumb crap? Yeah, absolutely I have. But do I regret it? No. Do I regret how I did it? Yeah, some things I did, but I wouldn't have known that unless I went through that experience in the first place. So I can't get mad at myself for like, well, I should have known that, or I should have seen that. No, that's life. So, but we come here to learn, and sometimes we just have to try to do the best that we can. So, but ultimately, like I said, you should be able to own every nasty thing that you've done to somebody and everything that's been done to you, and be pretty open and honest and okay about it. So that's how you know you're at stage 5. That's how you know. Let's see. So this is a good one. You found a 4-leaf clover. Should you buy a lottery ticket? I would. Heck yeah. Hell yes, I would. So Brad, this is funny. Turkey feathers are usually weirdly, they're usually girly, but they're almost always in relation to children or pregnancy or fertility. So usually that's what turkeys are. Let's see. Do you have to be on a certain stage when you pass not to come back? To a point, yes. And I will tell you that my spirit guides showed up, what was it, last week? It was Sunday morning. I wasn't feeling the best, let's be real. I had a few drinks. And so I'm sitting there, and my spirit guide came to me on my left side. Almost always they come to my right. He came to my left side, and he goes, grab your phone. All right. So I grabbed my phone. He goes, write these 10 things down. And so I wrote them down as quickly as I could. And I wrote them down because he said, if you want to master Earth, these are the things that you're going to have to do, the top lessons. And he gave me 10 lessons, like number 1, be authentic. Number 2, Earth is a school. Number 3, love everybody. 4, use your inner voice. 5, understand your relationship to technology. You're still consuming stuff. Make sure it's positive stuff. There's other things, I'll talk about it. But the main thing for me personally that I kind of got my butt chewed out was basically a half hour after I wake up in the morning and a half hour before I go to bed. I'm now not touching my phone, no TV, just quiet. I need a little bit more of that quiet time because I'm on my phone a little bit too much, or I'm working with business and stuff like that. So I'm making sure now to give myself that little bit of a pause. And I've slept better. I just feel better. I don't know how to explain that. So, but yeah, it's a half hour when I wake up and a half hour before I go to bed. I don't touch my phone. I don't have any electronics, no music. I just sit and chill. Good stuff. So do we all have a spirit guide? Yes, absolutely. You all have at least one, anywhere from 3 to 5 I've seen on average. So this sorry, this one went fast. I'll go back to that one though. The best way to stay away from a narcissist is exactly like that. Stay away. Like I said, you just don't go near them because, like I said, no, your involvement in their life is irrelevant. And you have to understand that they usually don't really care about your feelings or anything else you have to say. So 10-year-old boy wetting the bed. What is the reason for that? Because he has a dominating male in the house that is very overbearing. And he's releasing his frustration at nighttime. So that means to tell me that there is a guy. It's either that, or we have to look at the possibility of him with some molestation or SA type things. It's either one of the two. Usually though, it is because there is a dad or a male in the household that is very overbearing. How do pets fit in the spiritual world? Just like people. Just like people. So they're living things too. So are trees. What if somebody doesn't want to come back? You know, here's the deal, is that you're looking at this from a human perspective. You're not looking at this from a spiritual perspective. You learn so much at a soul level coming to Earth. We know coming into this world, it's going to be difficult and it's going to be hard. That's why we have so many spirit guides assisting us here. This world, other than any other galaxy, is filled with negativity, polarity, evil, all of that. It exists here because we learn better at a soul level. You can't learn everything if everything is perfect. You want to experience that polarity so you can truly appreciate the good stuff. All righty. So you keep coming back a lot because it's fun to learn. It's fun to learn. But by the time when you die, you're going to look back at this life and just like, man, that was an awesome dream. That was awesome. But most people regret not doing what they want to do with their life when they cross over. I worked too hard. I didn't, you know, I should have taken more time with my friends and family. You know, money didn't matter, especially when you're older in life. And I'm like, it's just really interesting. But that's, you know, I've learned how to live life from talking to dead people. Absolutely. So my thoughts on soul contracts, we do have soul contracts. Absolutely. And the people that you meet in this life are people that you're supposed to meet. So absolutely. So back pain, depending on where it's at, if it's the upper back, it's usually children. If it's the lower back, it's usually money or finances. So here's one that I get a lot. So seeing orbs and other things fly around in your porch on your Ring camera, I already ruled out bugs and bats. Almost always it's bugs. So I'm a person that I don't give a shit about orbs. So I want to see a figure. I want to see, because orbs 90% of the time can be washed away for bugs, dust, anything. So there's a few of them that you can't always, because they're emitting light outside of themselves. So, but for the most part, for me personally, I don't buy it. I don't. I know I'm probably the most skeptical medium you're going to get on that one too. Are angels real? Absolutely. There's all different kinds too, for different kinds of jobs. So, but some people are too good for this world. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not too good. We're all the same. Nobody's better than somebody else or too good, other than that. That doesn't exist. That's not true. So that statement in itself is contradictive. So, but no, we're all here for a different purpose and for a reason. And ultimately it's to co-create with the universe and other people. And it's for us to learn. It's for us to learn. So, this is a good one. Best crystals on your wedding day: garnet. Garnet and ruby is actually a pretty good one too. Diamonds, yes, of course. Sapphires and emeralds are not too shabby either. Bone cancer, Megan, if it's not secondary, almost always that has a lot to do with somebody who, one, had one hell of a lot of trauma. But number two, they don't like themselves at all. At all. They hate themselves. They tear themselves down any chance that they get. And my guess is that is due to trauma. So Ashley said that her daughter passed away at 3 months old. Why do babies pass? To make us better mothers. And for you to appreciate kiddos when you have the opportunity to have them. So that's why it makes you appreciate. It makes you appreciate being a mom. It does. Is it okay to wear black tourmaline and selenite at the same time? Absolutely, yes. Somebody was asking, do narcissistic people ever change? The only time they ever change, which is rare, but if they do, it's because they're at a stage 4 of a spiritual awakening, or it's because their opposite sex parent died. But that's rare bird. You know, Lisa, this is funny. I struggle with gaining weight as well. There aren't really any crystals to help with gaining weight. I have found that smoky quartz has helped me out a little bit more. So, but there really isn't any crystals. There's one to help you lose weight. I mean, like yellow apatite speeds up your metabolism, whereas blue apatite helps to curb your appetite. So yeah, there's things for weight loss, but not for weight gain. So yeah. So this is a great question. How do you make amends with somebody who won't talk about it? Let it go. Let it go and forgive them. And you want to know why? It's because they're ashamed, and they don't want to talk about it. And a lot of people that make mistakes don't know how to say I'm sorry. So just accept the apology that you may not ever get, forgive them anyway, and move on. So. So this is a good one too. Melanie's saying, I've been in the stage path 4 for a year plus. Advice to give somebody who's healing but wants to get there quicker. There's nothing you can do. You can't speed up your awakening process. It is one step at a time, one lesson at a time. And if if you keep making that same mistake, the lesson will repeat until you see it. And then we go on to the next lesson. So I will tell you, it took me 4.5 years to get out of a stage 4. So be patient. You will advance when your soul is ready, not when your ego is ready. So that's why I'm telling you, your ego is like, hurry up, let's go. And because it's painful and it's not easy. And I'm like, you have to go through that process one step at a time. Just one step at a time. And there is no way to be able to speed that process up either. Nope, no different than you can't make anybody go through a spiritual awakening either. You can't make anybody. Might accidentally trip them in. So my next Enlightenment Academy class is beginning of August. So I just call the office if you're curious about that. Otherwise, my classes right now are all on Eventbrite. So I have a tarot card class that I'm teaching tomorrow via Zoom. Go to Eventbrite for that. And then Friday, I have a psychic abilities class. We'll talk about clairvoyance, clairaudience. And then on Monday, I have a law of attraction or a manifestation class. So if you guys are interested in any of those, sign up. But like I said, all my normal, my classes on Zoom there are $25. And like I said, you just go to Eventbrite because my website is down for a little bit while longer yet. I've been in the same lesson for 2 years. Here's a good one. Does a spirit guide keep changing their minds when giving advice? No, because they can only give you the most probable outcome, and it's never 100%. Okay, so they can only give you that most probable outcome if it's for you and you only. It can't be for, does so-and-so love me? So because you're asking on somebody else's behalf, you're not going to get a straight answer with that. You're only going to be able to ask about you. And remember, your spirit guides cannot make decisions for you. They can't. That would affect your free will. That's a big no-no. Let's see here. Crystal communications for ET and galactic connection, Moldavite, Phenakite, any of the Synergy 12s. So Brookite is another one that's pretty good. So yes. So Wendy, you just have to be more patient, honey. It's going to take years. It's not an overnight process. It's going to take you years. So be patient. Be patient. Should you do the beginner tarot even if you have experience? No. 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 No, because if you're already reading them. So I just do the Celtic cross. That's it. So let's see here. Can you ask what somebody else's current feelings are for you are? No. No, because you don't have their permission. You get a false read every single time. That's a good question. How come you don't remember anything from your childhood, but you're the only family member healing? You're probably the only family member enlightened, first of all. Second of all, you will remember your childhood, especially at a stage 4. Now, here's the deal. I always tell people, let's not force Pandora's box open. If you don't remember your childhood, you're being protected from something, usually. Not always, but usually. Those memories will come to the surface when your mind and your soul is ready to deal with it. We don't need to open Pandora's box any sooner than it needs to come open. So just understand that as you continue to heal, these memories might pop up. So that's then when we can start working and deal with them. All righty. So that's going to be the best one. Let me see. So reason for numbness in body when sleeping and wake up. Usually that's just how you're sleeping, meaning that like you need to get either fluffier pillows or more softer surface. It's because I think it's just the way you're sleeping, especially on your pillow. So difference between tarot and oracle cards. So oracle cards are easier to read. So are angel cards. Tarot cards are a lot harder and a little bit more complicated to read. So if you're start off with oracle cards or angel cards. At Awakenings, we do have open packages. So you guys can actually open up the box and look at the cards and see if you like them or not. So Carol, I've already answered this one. Left shoulder has everything to do with holding on to issues with your mother or with children. So my guess is you're probably taking care of your mother. So how do you protect your energy from a narcissist when you feel their energy drain when they come in the room? That's legit. Okay, that's legit. And so all you're going to do real quick in your mind is say something like, God, angels, please surround me with the white light of the Holy Spirit. And then you're going to imagine yourself in this big white bubble that fast. That's all you got to do. That's really going to help to buffer out energy. And what that does is it keeps your energy or your auric field to you a little bit closer. So if you see 1111, it really truly means that you're spiritually connected. You're officially like reconnected, meaning that you were probably intuitive when you were a kid. You're now reconnected. And from this point forward, your thoughts will control your reality. So pay attention to what you're thinking. And if you don't know what you're thinking, how are you feeling? Because your emotions are an indicator to what you're thinking. So how do you help a family member that is a addict, pain medicine, stuff like that? So Susie, the only way is to get them to heal their trauma from their childhood. So, and don't think for a second that just because your parents get a divorce, that's not traumatic. Of course it is. Of course it is, depending on what kind of a kiddo you are. So the biggest thing that you could do, Susie, to help this family member is to truly, when she's ready, to get therapy to discuss the trauma, because they're doing drugs so they don't have to think about it. So it's out of sight, out of mind. It calms their brain so they don't have to deal with the way that they feel because of the trauma that happened. All righty. Feel like some big things are about to happen in your life, just can't explain it. That's okay. Just keep moving forward. Then you're doing everything right. Just keep moving forward. That just means to tell me that you're in a high vibration. Keep that. Keep that. That's a good thing. So how to heal father abandonment issues and feeling stuck at the age of leaving. Which is common, which is really, really common. But the best thing that you can do to help you with this is let's really break it down and look at how your dad was raised by his parents. Because once you really look at how your dad was raised by his parents, you're going to see why he responds and reacts to you the way that he does. So that's a big one. So really break it down and look at how your dad was raised. And then, like I said, if you feel like you need to talk to him about everything, do it. If you need to write it down on a sheet of paper and burn it, fine. So, but either way, you want to get that resentment out, right? Is manifesting quicker once you're enlightened or awakened? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So it does not take me long to manifest anymore. I mean, it was January 1st. I wrote down the goal of, you know what, I like to just sit at home and write all the time. Well, a month later, Penguin Book Publishing Company reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to write a book for numerology? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I whipped it out and got it done, only to realize, well, I don't like being tied down to my computer and have to write. So, not my thing. So, but at the same time, I manifested it. I got it within a month. So no, manifesting isn't hard. You just think it is. That's the problem. It's not hard. World War III thoughts? I doubt it. There's so much fear right now. I mean, we could have a solar flare and we all die. We could all have financial collapse and we're all hungry. We could have a World War III. We could have a meteor strike. We could have UFO alien invasion. I mean, there's so many different scenarios. But the best thing that I can tell you is that if you were to die tomorrow, would you be able to look back at your life and go, I got to live my life the way that I wanted to live it? That was one hell of a ride. Might have been a little tough, but man, that was a hell of a ride. And I did what I wanted to with my life. And I got to love people and I got to co-create with people. And I'm all right with that. So it doesn't matter what might happen because we don't know what's going to happen. And I could say that as a psychic. But at the same time, I'm not worried about it. We will figure it out. We always do. We always do. But again, worrying about it is all you're doing is putting that into law of attraction to come out to play. I'm encouraging you to shut your freaking phone off and instead think about what you want to see. How do you want our government to look? How do you want our school system to look? How do you want our healthcare to appear? We're the ones in control of this. And right now they're trying to do the fear campaign to get us off track. And I'm like, fuck them. Instead, pay attention to what you're consuming and really think about what you want the world to look like. What do you want it to be? That's how we begin to change. That's how things begin to change. That's how you manifest. But focusing in on the fear, you won't be able to manifest anything because you're swimming in fear constantly. So this is a good one because dream catch me. I've been here. And I will tell you that I used to live in a trailer, all right, paycheck to paycheck. There had been nights that my kids made sure I got them fed, but I didn't get fed, okay? I know that you can get yourself out of these situations because I did. And I'll tell you, I had to watch what I said. That's how it started. Instead of me going, oh, well, I really want this, but I can't afford it. No, instead of me saying I can't afford it, even though it may be true, but I'll say, I just don't want this right now. I'm not going to get this right now. Maybe next time. That's still a higher vibration than I can't afford this. I'm too broke. So like I said, the biggest thing is it's really how you're talking to yourself. And then number two, pay attention to where your energy drains. Love my mom. But my mom would always say, like, well, can you afford that? You know, and how much money are you? Did you get your bills paid? How's your paycheck? So she was making me worry about my money more than I was worried about my money. So I had to explain to Ma, hey, I'm not going to talk to you anymore about money. Love you, but not going to talk to you anymore about my money. And then what really changed, honestly, I meditated. I was meditating. So that changed everything for me, absolutely everything. So I'm going to tell you, meditate and imagine what it's like to have, and for me, what I did is I would meditate and I'd get done meditating and then I would imagine what it was like to have $5,000 in my bank account with no debt. Because 10,000 for me living in a trailer was unreasonable. That wasn't reasonable to me. It had to be reasonable. So I was like, you know what would it feel like to have $5,000 in the bank? And I could see it in my bank account. And I'm like, man, that would feel really good. Not what I'm going to spend the money on, but what does it feel like to be positive in the bank account with all debt paid? Like that's how I started manifesting. And it was within 2 weeks, money started coming in. And it was weird how the money came in, but it came in. So didn't matter. Best crystals to wear at a funeral. Me personally, I wear black tourmaline and rose quartz, that combo. Let's see. Hang on, some of these are going kind of fast. You mentioned when music is stuck in your head, acknowledge lyrics. Yes. Then what is the next step in the realization? Like I said, put it into action. Like if it's telling you, be more happy, be more happy. If it's telling you to, whatever it's telling you to do it. So, and a lot of people are like, well, I don't know how to be happy. I'm like, good, manifest. That's where we start. You're going to hear me say, meditate. You're going to hear me say meditate a lot. So, because it really is baseline foundation for psychic abilities 101. Tips on helping somebody on hospice let go. You know what? They always get reassured by spirit, but the best thing that you can do, pray, and ask God to show them angels. So when they're ready to transition over, it's easy. Like everybody, for the most part, understands angels, right? Even kids do. So, but that's one that, like I said, prayers work. Oh, they work. They always work. So meaning of lung cancer, usually it's holding on to resentment with family members. Usually that's what it is. So what's the best way to heal from abandonment, detachment, trauma? Counseling. So because counselors are great at having you look or at different reactions and have you stop and look at some of those reactions. Plus, they might give you some really valuable tools that you can use to be able to help work through some of those issues. Yeah, if you got tinnitus in the ears a lot, guided meditations are great. That's a great way to do it. So either that or walking meditation, one of the two. So instead of enjoying my happy life, my brain is drawn to dramatic deaths, but cannot handle the pictures I seen later on. Any advice? Yeah, stop watching it. If you know it's a trigger for you, quit putting yourself in that position. I know that sounds simple, but like I said, stop. You're at a point, you may be curious, but you're at a point where you can't handle it yet. So that's what so stop doing it. Dream of losing teeth, anxiety, stress, anxiety. It's always anxiety or stress. So this is something that I tell everybody if they're feeling lost, tired, and where to start and move forward. You do 3 things. 1, meditate. 2, clean your house. Clean your house. Number 3, get small short-term goals. So come up with 3 short-term goals that you'd like to hit in 6 months and maybe 3 goals that you'd like to hit within a year. So that'll really be able to help you to start to move forward. Just do those 3 simple little things, because you don't want to make these big long goals, because what's going to happen is you're going to doubt it the first place. And then you're going to look at the mountain and go, well, that's so far away, I don't even know how to get there. So I'm like, well, who gives a shit? Just look at the next logical step ahead of you. Just look at the next step. What do you need to do? There's so many people that get into that analysis paralysis. And so what ends up happening is they're like, well, I need to write a book. I want to write this book and I want to do, it's going to be a bestseller. So what publisher do I need to go to? And I'm like, write the book first. Like, quit worrying about the C, D, E, F part of things. Get to A and B first. So it's amazing to me how many people worry about 3, 4, 5 steps down the road. I'm like, well, why don't you get momentum first, and then those answers will pop up. So otherwise, you're just going to stand there getting analysis paralysis and not move anywhere. You won't do anything. Can wild animals understand humans when we talk to them? Yeah. Yes, they can. Believe it or not. Oh, walking meditation. So walking meditation is just walking to the beat of your feet. So without no cell phone, no music, just get out and walk. And usually on a level place. And then like the beat of your feet will get you into a repetitive type of mode. And you can begin meditating in like almost 10 minutes, especially if you're fidgety like me. So sorry. I am feeling fear and worrying. What can you do? Meditate, 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 and let it go. Heal maternal lineage. You know what? Here's the deal. You don't need to worry about that. If you take care of you and deal with your shit and how you respond and react to other women and other men, you'll heal the line. You don't have to worry about going up the line. The biggest thing is that you just do the best that you can with you to honor that, and you'll do just fine. You'll do just fine. So empathy burnout is making it really hard to be around people, especially muggles. Yep. So make sure you're taking your salt baths, make sure that you're staying hydrated, and make sure that you're bubbling up before you leave the house. I've been wearing a lot of grounding pendants again lately, just because it just seems like it keeps my bubble in a little bit better. So black tourmaline or black obsidian does help out too. This is a good one. Is there any way I can manifest a miracle for your great nephew? You can't manifest for anyone else except for yourself. You can pray. You can absolutely pray. So, and that's all you can do. So I'll put in a prayer too. How do you remove abundance blocks? You have to know what the block is in the first place. And that requires you to go within and figure it out. So for instance, my abundance block was my mother. I was sitting there one day and I remember getting off the phone with her and I was so frustrated. And I'm like, wait a second, why am I frustrated? I'm like, because she is telling me things that I already know, but I realized that by talking to her with my money, she was my block in itself. So this is where you need to go within and really start going, how do you respond to money? How do you respond, especially when you're going shopping? What do you tell yourself when you're shopping? Pay attention to that. If you're saying, I can't afford that, I can't afford that, I can't afford that, well, then you're broke-minded. If you say, I'm broke, I don't have enough money, well, then you are, because you're telling yourself you are. So you really, really have to start watching what you're saying and what you're thinking. How can you stay focused while meditating if your mind starts wandering? Your mind is going to wander. It's normal. You will never, I'll repeat that again, you will never be able to sit there for 20 minutes and not have a thought. That does not happen. It doesn't happen. Your mind is going to wander. You're human. So that takes practice and patience. So don't get me wrong. Can some, Buddhist monk do it up in Tibet? Well, you bet, because they've had a lot of practice. But don't think for 1 second that you are going to sit there for 20 minutes and your mind isn't going to wander, or you're not going to be able to not think. Of course you are. That's what brains do. But you just need to train the chipmunk on cocaine in your brain to kind of get back to center, however that works for you, whether that's a deep breath in the nose, out through the mouth, or it's focusing maybe on a candle or some sight. So whatever that might be for you. What's the difference between praying for something and manifesting it? Praying is asking God what it is that you want, which is step one. That's step one. Ask and you shall receive. Got to ask first. Manifesting is imagining what it's like to already have it. So that's what manifesting is. And trying to be happy throughout the day best you can. Crystals to sell a house for top dollar. That would be pyrite, jade, and citrine. Oh, yeah. Why do people around you irritate the hell out of you? It's because you're high vibe, they're low vibe. You're enlightened, they're not. So just understand that you're on two different playing fields, and you just try to have to be as nice as you possibly can. So, and I'm fully aware that that is legit. Can you recommend a nutrition plan to help you regulate your gut issues? I will tell you, Connie, I did 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in one of these every morning. And I just chug it in the morning, and then I let it sit for 20 minutes, and then I go have my cup of coffee. That has healed my gut issues 90%. Not kidding. I'll show you the lemon juice that I have it in my Amazon. Just get it on Amazon or Costco. Costco's got it. So this is it right here. That one. So I just do 2 tablespoons of this in my water. And that has helped me out so much, because what it does is it feeds your good gut bacteria and it kills the bad gut bacteria. So, because I can't do yogurt. So, but that has helped me out so much. So much. How do I find my Amazon page? It's like an influencer page. I'm not sure how. So, sorry. So let me just discuss this one really quick. So here's the deal with cancer. Cancer is because 90% of the time, not 100, cancer is usually because you're holding on to resentment. So sometimes a 10%ers, it's, I don't know, environment. But 9 times out of 10, it's usually because you hold on to resentment of something or someone. So it was this one. I'll show it again. Italian volcano. That one. It's good. So, and it's organic, so that's why it's good. Any other questions? So like I said, I do have that tarot card class tomorrow. And then Friday, I have the psychic abilities class. And then Monday, I have the manifesting or the law of attraction class. What does it mean that you're constantly seeing angel numbers? You will every day for the rest of your life. Welcome to enlightenment. So those you have to figure out what they mean for you. That's what you got to find out what they mean for you. How do you let go of resentment? Forgiveness. You got to learn how to forgive them. And like I said, it does help if you look at how they were raised. It does help. So If you were told, yeah, you would be a good healer. Yep, that's what I'm like, let's look into Reiki or Qigong or any of those healing modalities. There's lots of different healing modalities. So check those out, you bet. Was I always psychic or did I open these abilities? I was always psychic and a medium too. I shut it down at 19 and I turned it back on in my early 30s. When you sage, but you have good people, you don't want them to leave, will they go? No, they won't. Because you're saying that anybody not for my highest good has to go. Anybody who is for your highest good, which is family, or if you want to call them out and be like, hey, the owner of the home, you guys can stick around, it's fine. So whatever, you can specify. So it's all good. Let's see. Somebody was asking, does everyone have that one special love? No. Maybe it's supposed to happen in this life. Maybe it's not. So nope, not all the time. Nope. So will people who passed let you know how they passed? Yes. Either if you're suspicious, so a lot of times what ends up happening, Christine, is that they'll show up in a dream and they'll show up in the person who's the least resistant. So they'll show up in a dream to somebody and be like, hey, this is what's up. So yeah. Mm-hmm. La, 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 la. Okay, sorry. There's lots of. How do you manifest a relationship? You imagine what it's like to already have that partner. So what does that feel like? So if that makes sense. So like, so just what does it feel like to you? So don't worry about the details. Get that feeling. What would that feel like to have a really good friendship or a really good partnership or a soulmate? Like what would that feel like to you? My next Reiki class, I think, is in July. I'm pretty sure that's in July. So, do I listen to my gut feeling or my heart when making a choice? My gut every single time. Every single time. Because if my gut goes down, then I know it's a no. If I have to go, well, that's a no. No. So, if it goes up, my stomach kind of goes up and my heart skips a beat just a little bit and it makes me nervous, I'm going to pay attention to that. I'll pay attention to that. So this is interesting, Lori. If people don't have a pituitary gland, usually that has, damn. I'd like to know what happened in their previous life. Because the pituitary gland is the one in charge of all the other glands. And that one in particular is associated with your crown chakra. And your crown chakra is your connection to God source energy. So that's a rare bird. And I'd love to know what they did in a previous life. Because either that or what happened in utero with the mother. Those would be my questions. So I get asked this a lot. Any insight on what's going to happen with the president election in November? There are so many different factors. This is so strange for me to even say this. I don't even know if we're going to have an election. I don't even know. There's so many weird irons in the fire. I'm not sure. So, but like I said, opinions aside, I don't know. And it has been crazy up to this point that I thought that for sure we'd have some different front runners here. So, but no, I think it's going to happen. I don't know. I can't stick my finger on that one. Do we always know the reason of our own death? Yes, when you cross over into heaven. Now, if you don't cross over or go into the light and you remain a ghost here, then maybe not. Then maybe not. Do Reiki sessions have to be done in person? Yes. Yeah, they do. And I say that because how are you supposed to know energy watching a TV screen? You're going to want to do that in person. Kim's asking, I met somebody. I will tell you, let things unfold. Because I'll tell you what, if that guy really likes you, you're going to know it. And if he's not into you, you're going to know it. So let them lead. So mediums on Instagram who are creating short reels of readings, downloads coming in, are those legit? No, probably not. So, and I say that just because they're probably looking at it based on their own opinion or their outcome. Most of them don't have enough. They haven't been living life long enough to know how life works. But some of them I do think are possibly legit. So this is where I tell people all the time, you have to use discernment. So you really have to use discernment. And, and my second question is, if they're going to be doing those readings and downloads that are supposedly legit, if you're being spoke to by your spirit guides or people that are for higher good for yourself, they're not going to talk about the fear. Why would I put more fear? That we don't need any more fear out there. So if, really pay attention, are they really truly helping you? Or are they just spreading the scare tactic like everybody else? So everybody right now is all about the fear, and wanting their, 15 minutes of fame. And I'm like, this is where you've got to really start using discernment and really deciding, is that your truth or are they just spreading fear? So I've been losing relationships lately with people who you thought you'd been in your life longer. Is this normal? It's normal. You're ending your stage 3 and you're going into a stage 4. You're right on the money. So that's normal. Do people commit suicide go to heaven? Every time. Okay, 99% of the time. You just made a mistake. It's not a big deal. You just made a mistake. You get a mulligan. It's fine. So no, people that commit suicide do not go to hell. They go to heaven and they get put in rehab a little bit. They finally get help. They get rehab. They get to let go of the earthy heaviness. They get to let that go. Do I need to set an intention with crystals before you wear them? I don't, because for me personally, I think every crystal vibrates at its own frequency. If I'm grabbing it, there's a reason why I'm grabbing it. It'll do what it needs to do. So when you see repeating numbers, how often do you have to see them for it to mean something? You just see it once, it would mean something. Because like I said, there's no such thing as a coincidence in this world. It's called synchronicity. You don't have coincidence anymore. It's synchronicity. That's what it's called. So that's why if you see it, it's because it was meant for you to see. Synchronicity. If hell isn't real, why do they talk about it so much in the Bible? To keep people in church and keep the money coming in. That's what religion's based off of. If you don't do A, B, and C, well, you're going to die and go to hell. So you got to do what A, B, and C says because, and don't get me wrong, those rules, generally speaking, good rules. I would agree with that. We don't want to murder each other and have adultery and shit. Well, sure. So absolutely. So, but at the same time, there is a hell. It does exist because us humans created it, but it's not like you're staying there. You're literally, if you do go, it's not because you told somebody off. It's usually because you sold your soul. You did something really bad or you have a possession, but you're only going to go there for a little bit, then you're out of here. So, because usually you're going to go there and go, oh man, I fucked up. I'm like, oh God, Jesus, my bad. Can I come back? And usually like, yeah. So, but sometimes you need to get scared shitless again so you can appreciate good. How are you supposed to appreciate really, really good and perfect if you don't know really, really bad? After a funeral, standing at the grave, saw stars flowing quickly in infinity sign. Yep. A lot of times that's when you see that, when I see that infinity sign, almost always that's a dead person. That's how they kind of sometimes start. So more information on 5D. Guess what? We're already in it. Oh, yay. That's it. We're in 5D. It's nothing magical. It's nothing crazy. It's just that now that we're in 5D and enlightened, we still have to be around 3D and unenlightened. And we still have to live in a 3D world that requires money and crap like that. But that's why we're all going to be shifting to 5D. That's why we all need to start coming together to fix it, basically. So, so why do toxic extended family members randomly come out of the woodwork trying to reach out after decades of no contact? 3 different ones have done this in the past couple of weeks. What do they want? They want something. Because if it's random like that and they're coming out of the woodwork to try to reach out, it's because you have something they need, probably information of sorts, or they want to manipulate you to get you on their side. So either way, it's a losing battle, and I wouldn't pick up the phone, because if they really wanted to reach out, they would leave a message with what it is that they want to say. So I wouldn't even open up Pandora's box on that one. So, because nothing good's going to come out of that. So, thoughts on if we're in a hologram of sorts, saying it's the grid more and more lately. So what if it is? So what if we are living in a hologram? So what? You're still here. Why don't you make the best of it while you're here? I am. So, like I said, it doesn't matter if you think we're living in a hologram or a matrix or whatever. Technically, sure, we are, but that doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. You're still here on Earth, and you still have to be in this shithole with me like the rest of us. So what if it's a hologram? So what if it's a matrix? Play the game, and you play the game to win. So, and you play the game by knowing who you are so well at a soul level that nobody can ruffle your feathers. And that's hard. That's hard. So, okay, guys, I'm going to end it there because I am hungry. So I haven't eaten yet, and it's 8. I'm hungry. So I was going to eat. I'm just having spaghetti. You know, when I'm craving carbs. Like, I know if I'm starting to crave carbs and potatoes, I need to ground. And I've been inside all day today. And like, yeah, I got to ground. So I'm working with crystals all day today too, and that doesn't help. So, all right, guys, I want to thank everybody for watching. But like I said, head to Eventbrite. It's psychic/medium Kelly Miller. That's where you're going to find that info. Like I said, tarot card, law of attraction class, and a psychic abilities class on Friday. So, okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. So, like I said, I'm gonna go eat my spaghetti. So, God, I want my carbs. So, all right, guys, take care.